What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about all the latest news, notes, and highlights coming out from New York Jets training camp. And the biggest storyline over the last week and a half is Justin Fields. Is he struggling? Did he bounce back today? We'll discuss it all on today's show. But some good news for Jets fans, and not a shocker whatsoever if you guys have been following the Aaron Glenn era here in New York. But Rich Cimini tweeting this out. Justin Fields and the starters will play Saturday against the Packers. Aaron Glenn tells reporters there's a new philosophy in Florham Park. So, honestly, I thought this was going to be the case. We know who Aaron Glenn is, that old-school football guy. He wants these guys to get some high-quality reps, and the preseason is a great way to get just that, especially if Justin Fields has been struggling in training camp over the last week and a half. Get him some live action. You'll be able to see his legs a little more out there in a preseason setting compared to a training camp setting. So I think this is the right call. But also more good news for you guys. We are going to be live for the game this Saturday. Now, we're probably going to be going live about 15 minutes before kickoff. So about 7:45 New York time, 6:45 Central time. So if you guys want to tune in, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. It's our first time ever going live here on the channel. We'll have live play-by-play reacting to the game in real time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also probably have some drinks as well. So if you guys are going to tune in, let me know down below in the comment section. But please, please, please hit that subscribe button today and don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. All right, so let's talk about Fields struggling here. So this was a 3-day stretch of practice this past week, and he was dominating headlines. Everybody was freaking out. Oh, my God, Justin Fields this, Justin Fields that. And he was struggling. First day of practice during this 3-day stretch, went 2 for 10. The next day, 4 for 16. Then he was 9 for 17 with 2 interceptions. So in total, he was 15 of 43 with 2 picks. The raw numbers don't look great. But I will say for training camp, we don't always exactly know what the goal is on every single play and every single kind of practice here. So I understand the numbers look absolutely awful. And, there's no doubting that he was struggling. But we also don't know what they were trying to accomplish. What if this was in a 3rd and long stretch where, it was 3rd and 10 only. And obviously that's, putting the quarterback at a disadvantage. So I don't love looking too much in the training camp stats, but I guess my take on the whole thing of Fields struggling was we knew this was going to be a process. Everybody's going to have to be patient with Justin Fields because he is still a developmental quarterback, in my opinion, even though he's been in the league for a couple of seasons. But he's learning a whole new offense of Tanner Eggstrand, a whole new organization. Like, there's a lot on Justin Fields' plate. And also, this is the first time, since his first couple of years with the Chicago Bears where he is the guy. He is the starting quarterback, no doubt QB1. So I'm not really too concerned about this. And, for people getting all, worried about just, the passing game for the New York Jets, it's not like the Jets are going to be asking Fields to throw the ball 30 times a game. Like, it's not going to be a situation where it's like the Bengals offense where it's Burrow dropping back 40 times a game and he's throwing the Chase and T. Higgins. The Jets are going to be built through the run. They are going to rely on that defense. They're going to try to shorten these games, limit possessions on both sides of the field. And I would be shocked if Justin Fields has 5 games this year where he's throwing 30-plus times a game. So I think it's going to be more around that 20 to 25 mark, but he will use his legs a whole lot. So I'm not too concerned about it. And also, he bounced back today. This is coming in from Nick Faria from Jets training camp earlier today, saying Fields attacking the middle of the field today. Fires one in the middle to Garrett Wilson for a first down. He also had a sweet touchdown throw to Garrett Wilson over Sauce Gardner. It was honestly a beautifully thrown ball. So even though he was struggling, started to bounce back today, and we actually started to see his legs as well in the red zone. Nick tweeting this out as well. Justin Fields scrambles for a touchdown in the red zone. Fields has had a very good practice, in my opinion. Interception was not on him. We'll talk about that. And he responded by leading the offense to another score. So this is obviously a big learning curve for Justin Fields. He's going to be going through all these reps, and it's just hopefully we're at a point when November, December rolls around and Fields has full command of this offense, and we really see this New York Jets, that side of the football, hit the ground running. But again, it's going to take some time. It may be bumpy in September and October. Like I said, December, hopefully this offense is hitting their peak at that point in the season. And also, in terms of just a quarterback like Justin Fields, where he is such a dual-threat athlete and, his biggest benefit of his game is his, ability to run the football. It is tough to evaluate a QB's rushing ability during training camp because I don't know if you guys are watching Hard Knocks so far for the Buffalo Bills. They had a clip in a defensive meeting where the defensive coordinator was telling the guys on the D-line, be like, yo, do not touch Josh Allen whatsoever. Like, even if you're about to get to him, pull off, don't even come close to him. A lot of those same conversations are probably happening at Jets practice, considering he also, got stepped on, was dealing with that toe injury as well. It's just tough to evaluate these guys because you're not able to bring them down. You're not able to touch them whatsoever. So it's tough to evaluate that dual threat ability. But hopefully, during the preseason, this Saturday, we'll get a better look at Justin Fields. But you guys got to be honest with me. I know a lot of Jets fans are concerned about this. I'm not really too concerned just yet. Obviously not a good thing. I'm not saying this means nothing. It means something, but I don't think it's everything. So you guys let me know. Are you concerned about Justin Fields? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comment section. All right, so some more news from Jets training camp today. Not good for a guy, Jeremy Ruckert here. Zach Rosenblatt saying, oh dear, Justin Fields pass deflected off Jeremy Ruckert's hands and was picked off by Brandon Stephens. The throw was fine too. I forget who else tweeted it, but they said it was just an awful drop by Jeremy Ruckert. And I understand Mason Taylor is dealing with that high ankle sprain right now, but he is tight end one. And we knew this once the Jets drafted him. Like, you had Stone Smart, Jeremy Ruckert behind him. We knew if Mason Taylor just showed a little bit of who we thought he was coming out of LSU, he was going to be the tight end one. And I think that will be fully coming to fruition once the regular season rolls around. I expect him to get, probably 100% of those tight end one reps during the season for the New York Jets. So not good for Jeremy Ruckert there. Still assuming he's going to make the team, but, we'll see how that plays out. But some more takeaways here from Nick Ferry, who's at practice today, saying much better day for the offense and Justin Fields. He played a lot more free, and it showed. Marcelio McCray-Ball looked really good today, continues to earn playing time. So great news there on Fields. Obviously it's going to be bumpy like we were saying, but it's all about bouncing back, just getting better each and every day. And, if Glenn and Tanner Eggstrand aren't totally concerned about this, I'm not really that concerned either. So I think that's just, it's just a process of going through training camp, and I'm sure these guys are also sick and tired of playing against each other for the last 2 weeks. I'm sure they're so excited to get to that preseason game, those joint practices versus the Giants next week. So we'll be able to see more, more real football than, training camp right now. We're kind of in the dog days. But also, Ferrier, this was the second part of the quote, saying, excellent day from New York's tackles. Membu and Fushano were really good. Minimal pressures, so that's good news there. We obviously know those two are the big X factors on that offensive line. If Membu and Fushano can pop, they look like one of the best young tackle duos in the league. We're talking about this offensive line being really, really, impactful for this offense. But he also said injuries are an issue. But I just haven't liked what I've seen from Jeremy Ruckert at all this camp. This should be Mason Taylor's job, and it 100% will be. Feel bad for Ruckert, but it's just kind of, it is what it is at this point. I think, they drafted Mason Taylor for a reason. Obviously, they did not have a lot of faith in Ruckert or Stone Smart. But Samini of ESPN was also writing up about Jets camp, saying this, kind of taking the other viewpoint of Justin Fields' struggle and saying so much of the focus in camp has been on Justin Fields' struggles at quarterback. But the defense deserves some credit. The secondary with new starters at cornerback, Brandon Stephens, and safety Andre Cisco, has impressed with tight coverage and ball hawking ability. And he also said, let's not forget about Sauce Gardner now, the highest paid cornerback in the sport. He's having a very good camp with a handful of pass breakups. Now, I cannot wait to see Sauce Gardner go head-to-head against Malik Nabers next week at joint practices. Malik Nabers looks like a legit top 5 wide receiver in the league, and he was actually talking about it today after practice, saying, yeah, me and Malik, we're best friends off the field. He's got a ton of respect for him. He actually views Malik as, another version of himself. Like, they hit the ground running year one in the NFL, looked really impactful, and they're already, household names in the NFL. So it's going to be awesome to see those two go at it. I'm sure also Sauce, he's going against Garrett Wilson every day. I'm sure he's excited to go against another elite wide receiver in the NFL in Malik Nabers. But I do want to touch back on here Brandon Stephens. Aaron Glenn was talking about him, saying this. He's probably one of our most improved players right now. He probably gets his hands on the ball more than I thought he would. And, I wasn't alone on this take, but I wasn't a fan of this signing of Brandon Stephens for 3 years, $36 million, considering he was pretty damn bad for the Ravens this past season. But I don't know if this is Aaron Glenn trying to hype up his own guy or if he's actually making plays out there. But also, I can't really see Aaron Glenn just BS in the media trying to hype up a random player. So I'm going to take his word for it. But this is great news for Jets fans because it also limits the pressure you put on a guy like an A.Z. Thomas. Because let's just say Brandon Stephens was really struggling, wasn't living up to that contract they gave him this offseason. You're looking at a guy like A.Z. Thomas saying, hey, you got to step up in year one being a third-round pick. you got to play some impactful football. But I do want to close today's show out just discussing the latest injury news because the injury bug has definitely been going around New York Jets training camp. Will McDonald, he was dealing with the back. Now, Will was back out there at practice today. So that's good news there. Brian Cowart dealing with an ankle. A.C. Thomas dealing with a shoulder. Tyrod's been dealing with his knee. And probably the two biggest ones, Mason Taylor with that high ankle sprain. Even though he's a rookie, I would put him on ice until week 1. Maybe like the third preseason game when he's fully ready to go. Just get him a drive out there to get accustomed to the NFL field. But Malachi Moore also doing with oblique. So, not good there. But, again, this is also what you expect from a physical training camp. It's kind of the push and pull where it's like you want these guys to go all out. You want them to really be physical, want them to be aggressive, but injuries will be, an outcome of a physical training camp. So if you guys want the Jets to stay healthy this entire season, hit me with a me down below in the comments section and hit that subscribe button on your way out. We will be going live for the game this Saturday. I cannot wait. Aaron Glenn's playing the starters. So it's going to be very exciting. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button today, we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Jets.